Laguna Seca to Asha Slibin's course, Clio warriors lining up with full force. Heat race is split, standing starts ignite. 2 laps in quali, chase that pole tonight. Bonus points waiting if you keep it clean. In the Renault Clio League, we're chasing the dream. Call Clio League Season 2. Feel the rush, we're coming through. 12 weeks, 12 tracks, 12 fights to the end. From the club to the international bands. Broadcast live for the world to see. Clio League, this is where we wanna be. Clio League Season 2. We race, we fight, we battle through. Heat races first, then feature 1. 15 minutes pedal down, get it done. Feature 2 with the invert spin. Fight your way back and the bonus points begin. Incidents free earns you points to spare. Hard charges flying through the air. If you win them both, clean and true, 10 more points, that's how champions do. Call Clio League Season 2. Feel the rush, we're coming through. 12 weeks, 12 tracks, 12 fights to the end. From the club to the international bands. Broadcast live for the world to see. Clio League, this is where we wanna be. Clio League Season 2. We race, we fight, we battle through. Laguna Seca, we race it. Los Sebring Club, we chase it. La Daytona Short, we own it. La Tsukuba, we've shown it. La Monza Junior, we fly. La Knock Hills Twist, we try. Got Osher, Slim and B, we'll never say goodbye. Oh, Clio League Season 2. Feel the rush, we're coming through. 12 weeks, 12 tracks, 12 fights to the end. From the club to the international bands. Broadcast live for the world to see. Clio League, this is where we wanna be. Clio League Season 2. We race, we fight, we battle through. One dream, one league. It's me and you. Clio League Season 2. Go.
Welcome to the virtual Daytona International Speedway for the 3rd round of the Renault Clio League Season 2. We're green and we are away here at Daytona for heat race number 1. There is still some spray on the circuit. Drivers are going to have to be careful. They cannot push it too hard as they settle through turn number 4. Malone's into the wall, hits Perez. What's happened there? For Malone, I think that's been some aquaplaning. Ian Lane, he runs wide though, and that is Hagland up the inside and will take 3rd position. Can he do something here to take himself past Hilton in that championship? He overtakes Henriquez up the inside of turn number 1 as it stands. The Division 2 drivers showing their worth today. Around the outside. No, he's off. He is off. As Hagland pushes just a bit too much and falls to 3rd in class. Jukovic will win. We are green for heat race number 2. It is Herd away from the lead as they head into turn number 1 is Matt Neal. Matt Neal has gone off the track as we continue to watch thanks to him. Hatfield! And there was just a bit too much of a push with Richard Edgar. They're both off and out. There is a little bit of contact. Fox is still up the inside. Poplar's got the ideal wet racing line, but Fox has got the inside line. Fox does it. Fox moves into 6th overall, into 4th in class. Stephen Hurd, who crosses the line to win Division 1. The green flag is out. We are away, and Paul Braunstein has been black flagged off the line, most likely for a jump start. It is still wet out there. Onto the brakes, different racing line, and here comes Downey. Up the inside of Swain, there's a little bit of contact. Swain runs slightly wide, Hilton now pulling away. Downey keeping it side by side with Swain there in P2. Is going to have to back out into turn number 2 in that fight. Can't do it. They continue up towards turn number 3, and Fox back up the inside of Anhileri here. And he makes it. Fox is going to stick on to 4th in class. And Downey goes up the inside. As also Rosenville goes up the inside of Fox. Downey is up the inside of Swain. Rosenville drops behind. Downey does not drop behind here. On the outside lane, will turn across to try and get a good run up into turn number 3. A tight line once more for Swain. So that means Swain can't close the door. Downey is there on the inside line. It's a much tighter line than Downey normally runs. Can he hold it, or is Swain going to be able to do a switchback? He can't. He's stuck behind. Downey moves into 4th overall. So Luis Henriquez on the Division 1 category, battling with Bob Poplar, just offline onto the grass, and that's going to be all the way into the tyre barrier. And once you're there in the wet, here it is. This is our fight once more, and again it is Fox on the outside here of Swain, but this time Fox takes it. Harry Fox gets it on the outside of turn 1. Back into the mix at the very end here. How's Downey going to do it in his fight for Fox? It looks like he backs out just a little bit up the inside. Fox takes it on the outside. It is going to be Downey at the front of that. But here comes Jukovic in feature race 1. And they're away, and we are green for the final race of the day here in feature race 2 as Gould pulls away from the front of the field and has a nice launch. Who is in 18th position right now, started 23rd, so he is moving up the order. He's side by side here with Rosenville as they come through turn number 3. They're still side by side. Jukovic on the outside. That is Anthony Hilton behind them as Michael Wynn has got repairs required. So a meatball flag for him. A slide from Rosenville. Holds it, collects it, and keeps the position ahead of Jukovic for now. But here comes Jukovic up the inside as that is Eric Martin with a meatball flag. And that is a driver falling down the order. And I believe that might be Martin overall. As there's contact in the background, and that's with Jukovic. That is with Jukovic, who has gone off. I think it's Neal who has gone off. Is it going to come back on safely? It looks like there is no further contact in the background. Somehow, 15th overall, as there's more issues just up ahead. Tebow included in that one. That is not great for one of the championship contenders in Division 2. He pulls down the order once again on the outside, but is the outside going to work at turn 2? It doesn't look like it does because Nagel coming back towards Perez here. Gwilym surely going to try and bump Perez a little bit further so he can follow through up towards turn number 2 because Nagel is going to want to try and hold on to this position. In fact, he's going back for the move up the inside of Aaron Perez, and there is contact. Perez now wide lane, moves up the inside of Gwilym for the lead in Division 1. Nagel holds on to 2nd in class and 2nd overall. Perez, as Nagel goes deep, Perez goes up the inside. Through goes Ian Lane. But Perez on the outside of Gould here for the race lead and the Division 2 lead. They're side by side into turn 4. Perez has got just enough overlap. Gould's going to allow him to have it. Lane is going to bump his rear. Gould hopefully will hold on to that. Has half the race to get just 4 more overtakes done. As that is no! That's Gould! With Nagel behind. Here comes Jukovic. Only 3 cars to overtake now. And he's dispatching one of them. He's dispatching 2 of them. But up the inside comes Wiley Downey. Downey moves into second in class. Side by side with Ian Lane now. Jukovic leads Division 1. Of Division 2 drivers behind him. Nagel, Swain, Hagland and Gould. And there is contact. Swain up the inside of Nagel. We saw that there. Just a pit maneuver into turn 1. And he has got the inside into turn 3. Fox moves past Downey here and will try now to push on towards Jukovic. As there is contact in the background and a big crash in the background there. I'm not sure who is involved. This is the fight for second overall, first in Division 1. And Jukovic goes deep at turn 1. A rare mistake is that from Milan Jukovic. Harry Fox not getting asked twice to get involved there. Wait to the inside. Now pushing Jukovic up towards turn 3. Running for a different line here. Jukovic placing the car perfectly on that wider line so that Fox just couldn't turn in to win this race with just 3 laps to go. And Jukovic is going to be overtaken by Fox. There's contact. Jukovic wide. There's another bit of contact with Downey. But Fox is into the lead of the Division 1 category. But let's have a look at this man here, Aaron Perez. He couldn't quite put it together in Sebring, but he's gonna put it together here in Daytona. Aaron Perez is your race winner for feature race 2. Welcome to the virtual Portland International Raceway for the 4th round of the Renault Clio League. If you enjoyed that brief highlight video from Daytona, then be sure to head across to the Beehive Bill YouTube channel and catch up on all the extended highlights that are available to watch there. And don't miss out on passionate and professional broadcasts at a competitive price for your league, as the Beehive Bill website will be available soon. Book our services, sit back and relax as we bring your league to the big screen. Rain last week at Daytona, but nothing on the radar for today at Portland. Even racing without the rain, we are sure to get a huge amount of chaos and some fantastic racing like we have seen every week so far. But before we focus too much on Portland and the 4th round of the season, let's look ahead at the calendar that we still have coming up. Next week we take a break, a chance to breathe and to relax. But make sure you hit the follow button because they are sure to have something else coming your way next Saturday. On August 23rd we head to Tsukuba in Japan and then across to Winton for round 6 on August 30th. Into September, and we have a string of fantastic circuits. Monza, Thruxton and Nürburgring will bring the heat back after the summer ends. October is Knock Hill month as we head to the Scottish circuits on October 11th and October 18th before heading across to Oschersleben for the season finale on October 25th. The Renault Clio League hosts 4 races every week with its unique and exciting format of racing. Following a quick qualifying session, our drivers will be split into 2 and visit the track in 2 10-minute heat races. They all join together for the first feature race of the day. 15 minutes and full points on offer. Finally, the drivers head onto track for the last feature race of the day. 20 minutes and a random inverted grid. At least 15 drivers are going to be reversed for that race. We could have the whole field reversed. Not as many points on offer for finishing position in feature race 2, but a whole load of bonus points. Talking about points then, how do the championship standings look like heading in to the round of 4? 2 different classes out on track each week. So first, let's start with the standings of Division 1. After a poor string of races and a disconnect for El Hilary in Daytona, Vukovic flies away in the lead of the championship. No drop races have been applied yet, so that could affect Vukovic's lead a substantial amount, with a run of extremely good races so far this season. Hurd and Fox jump past El Hilary for second and third in class, separated by just 1 point. Rox and Malone swap position in 5th and 6th after a very poor weekend for Malone last week. Poplar, Cook and Lane sit in a close fight just behind. And breaking into the top 10 after last week's races at Daytona is Luis Henriquez. It's a lot closer at the top in the Division 2 championship, with Hilton just 8 points clear of the rising Downey. Swaim and Tebow swap positions in 3rd and 4th, and the biggest gainer of both divisions is Aaron Perez, moving from 9th to 5th after a great weekend at Daytona, including the win in feature race 2. Linscomb Hatfield remains in 6th, just ahead of Edgar and Gould, who are tied on 65 points each. Powell and Hagland round out the top 10 of Division 2. The Portland International Raceway opened over 60 years ago in 1961. It has held host to many of America's top racing events, such as the SCCA Trans Am and the kart. It is still visited by IndyCar, NASCAR Xfinity, ARCA Menards, among others. Just under 2 miles long, the circuit is split of asphalt and concrete, primarily changing over the drag strip that lies on the main straight. Get ready for this one, because it'll be tight all the way around the 9 turns of the no chicane layout here in the virtual Oregon city of Portland. So sit back and get comfortable, get out your popcorn, and to those drivers rewatching this event after you've finished driving yourselves, get ready for another 2 hours of heart-stopping action, because this is the 4th round of the Renault Clio League Season 2. And we are already running around a practice session. I absolutely love this, that we can get in straight away. We can see the Clios out on track. And there they are, all the Clios there that are running around at the moment at Portland. 18 cars in the server at the moment, and I believe that Jared Swaim is going to need some sort of pit stop, because he is currently running around on circuit on a set of wet tyres. That's not going to really help him out here. It's bone dry, of course, here at Portland. It was quite wet last week at Daytona, not quite the same here. But it is going to now become a little bit harder, because I've got another new name to pick up here, because we've got Joel Swaim joining the series as well alongside Jared Swaim. So I'm going to get a bit confused with the 2 Swaims there. Of course, it is Jared Swaim that sits in 3rd in the Division 2 Championship. Joel Swaim here for the first time. In fact, let us go and have a look at that 18th position car if we can. Here he is, and I've realised I don't have trading paints enabled, so we are going to go across to this scene for just one moment while we get trading paints up. There's always something that we forget here But that's how it always goes. Right, that's loading. We'll get back across in here, and we will see our paints very, very shortly, I am sure, as they will be loading in. But yeah, Joel Swain then, new in Division number 2. Looks like an even split of drivers right now in the server. Still 10 minutes left to go, but we've got 18 fantastic cars out on track right now. 9 Division 1 drivers, 9 Division 2 drivers. Anthony Hilton, Division 2 championship leader, 3 points ahead of Downey in the out on track at the moment. He sits second in class. Downey's 4th in class right now. In fact, I think it should be time that we get some of this information up for you, so that we can see how our drivers are doing out on track as our paints load in. I was only in the server for 15 minutes, you know. It's not like I couldn't have loaded up before, but there we go. Fast lap times up on the left, and once again, Stephen Hurd looking pretty quick here in practice. Vukovic, of course, putting it on pole so far in the opening 3 rounds, looking to go 4 for 4 here at Portland, I'm sure. And he was able to find that last time out, even without topping the practice session. In fact, let's show our gap between our drivers as we can see that gap all the way to the back. So looking about there, it is Joel Swain in the number 6 machine who is 17th. It is Jared Swain just behind. Now, I don't know if this is going to display properly. For most people, it is. Excellent. We will get that up. And it is only Downey and Swain in which it is not displaying correctly for. And I know why. So we will get that one fixed as well. This is the fantastic thing about getting in just a little bit earlier here, is we are able to just fix a couple of the issues. And this, I don't know why Downey is not displaying correctly, because he, of course, has been in this league before, but for some reason it just doesn't want to display all the time. That's okay. We will get that fixed quickly, and hopefully it will automatically update so we can have our drivers there. I don't know why it wasn't showing Riley, but oh well. Right, Joel Swain also here. As we say, we are just watching him. Well, you're not at the moment, but you will in a moment, because we're going to jump back there, and hopefully that will update, but we shall see. Yes, I do want to. And perfect! It's worked. Look at that. It's like I know how things work. And we can see our drivers' full names now without the D1 or D2 tags, which is lovely. I really hope, if Jared Swain is watching the broadcast right now, I really hope you know that you are on wet tyres, and you should probably swap that. Do you know what? As a broadcaster, I probably shouldn't, but I'm just going to let him know. That he is on wets, and hopefully he can see that. Right, 7 minutes on the clock here in practice. It is Stephen Hurd out at the front of this practice session for the 4th round. Just a quick reminder then for you all that are just joining in right now, because it has obviously a little bit of an earlier start than normal this week. After the first 3 rounds, it is Vukovic leading the way out at front in the Division 1 Championship. Vukovic sitting second in the practice session right now, and is Hilton, who is the leader of the Division 2 Championship, sitting 9th overall, but funnily enough, second in class as well. Richard Edgar really splitting the top of those standings. And we will get those standings back up for you in a moment's time. There we go. So Hurd out on front at the moment. John Cook doing quite a good job there. 3rd in this practice session. He sits 8th in class, actually. He came up from 9th going into Daytona. He had a good result, and he is up to 8th position now, as it looks like the 747 Hagland pulling off around the back end of the circuit. So this circuit, it is going to be a lot of pushing, I think, a lot of slipstreaming, some good tight corners. These first corners are certainly going to be interesting, but you've got that long back straight, you have got that long front straight, no chicane of course, means that these drivers are going to be pushing each other all the way. Just 9 turns, but it is an almost 2-mile circuit. It is, again, one of the longer circuits that we actually visit this year. Most of the circuits being between 1 and 1.5 miles long. So sitting at 1.93 miles, over 3 kilometers, of those of you that like kilometers. It's quite a long circuit for our Clio drivers to head around. Now, as that was Vukovic tapping the wall ever so slightly there. And see if we can get some information here. Here you go. Lovely. I'm still trying to figure out how everything works. But this is Vukovic, and actually we are going to run on board with him. He is sitting in 3rd at the moment as Marcus Law, the number 1 driver. He is new this week, and he is already proving that he is quite fast. Just 1/1000th of a second off of Stephen Hurd. Right, into turn number 1 goes Milan Vukovic. As he goes through into turn 2, it's a continuous right-hand corner. Keep it tight to the apex. Switch it across to the left-hand side here, as it looks like Swain has gone on to dry tyres now, and he has found some time, going 3rd in class. Into turn number 4, the tightest corner of them all on the circuit. One where it is very easy to lock up the tyres and get some understeer. Definitely in these Clios. Right, up towards turn number 6 and 7, the chicane. It is very fast. Easy to lose the rear end if you aren't being careful. Vukovic wobbling the wheel, just correcting himself, gets onto the brakes, turns across, doesn't quite turn it all the way into the curbing, and actually runs slightly wide out of turn 8 and 9. 8 and 9 really being one corner. I would argue turn 3 is actually longer than turn 8 and 9 combined. But there you go. There is a lap of the Portland International Raceway circuit without the chicane. It's going to be nice and fast here up to turn number 1. In fact, let's go have a little look at Marcus Law. He is sitting 2nd on the track, well, in the timing sheets right now. And we'll be trying to do something with that. Some big names, of course, in the championship here inside the top 10 of the Division 1 championship, not here. Obviously, we've got Vukovic, leader of the championship. We've got Stephen Hurd. He sits in 2nd. Then we've got Harry Fox in 3rd in the championship. He's not here today, it looks like, which is a shame for him. And we've got no El Hilary either after a really poor run in Daytona. He's not going to be here. We've got Neil Rocks. He sits 5th in the championship, but no Matt Malone, no Poplar either. We have got Cook. Cook sits 8th in the championship and can really take advantage of the fact that there are a number of drivers ahead of him not here today. Then, of course, we've got Ian Lane. Ian Lane, 9th in the championship. Again, could take advantage of those drivers not here today. And then we got Luis Enriquez, another driver that can take full advantage of those inside the top 10 not here today. Within the Division 2 championship, we have got our championship leader, Hilton. We've got 2nd place in the championship, Riley Downey, also here today. We've got 3rd place in the championship, Jared Swain here today. We've not got Tebow. Tebow has had a few issues in the last couple of weeks as Law goes off, because Vukovic has gone to the top of the timing standings there. As we look at Jared Swain here, 2nd in division, 2nd and 3rd in the championship standings. No Perez. After a very good week last week, no Perez. Someone who could really take advantage here. Driver who has been getting reverse pole position all season long. Zach Gould, he's currently down in 17th overall, 8th in class. Could see something like that. It's a nice split, actually. 9 Division 1 drivers, 9 Division 2 drivers. And for the most part, they seem to be pretty stuck together on that field. In fact, as I like to do just before the end of practice, we are going to show our drivers with their different classes so we can see the difference between each of them. And it is Vukovic, the fastest of the Division 1 category. It is Richard Edgar, the fastest right now of the Division 2 category. Now, Edgar's 7th in the championship in that Division 2. So if he could do something here this weekend, it'll shoot him up the order pretty well. Of course, only 2 timed laps for our drivers. That's all they're going to get out on the track today to put themselves as high up as they possibly can in qualifying. Odd number qualifiers, that's first, third, fifth, seventh, all the way down. They're going to be in heat race number 1. And your even number qualifiers, so that's second, fourth, second, fourth, sixth, 8th, 10th, all the way down. They're going to be in heat race number 2. I can do maths. I promise you, I understand how it works. I know how odd and even numbers work. But practice session is coming to a close here, and we are getting ourselves started for qualifying here at the Portland circuit. 18 drivers going to head out onto the track. In fact, we might have just got 19 at the very end there. 9 Division 1 drivers and 9 Division 2 drivers. I'm just counting. No, we're now 10 Division 2 drivers. We're up to 19 drivers right at the end of practice there, as we are joined by Matt Neal. Neal not inside the top 10 of the Division 2 Championship, so could take full advantage of that here and try to move up the order. Shall we have a little look at drivers that are out? We are, of course, going to find our way to Vukovic. Vukovic, the number 4 driver, he has got pole position every week so far in qualifying. Is he going to make it 4 for 4 in that three-way machine? I'm sure he's going to try. Of course, no race next week. It gives them a week off. It gives them a week break and a recovery before we head across to Tsukuba in Japan. That is the Moto 200 layout, I believe. It's a nice shorter layout there as well. It's going to be great fun. Trying to warm up his tyres, you can see, weaving left and right, sliding that car around, trying to get his tyres warmed up a little bit. As we've got 6 minutes on the clock, that's not really the important bit. 2 qualifying laps for each of these drivers. It looks like everyone is out, very possibly apart from Neal and Downey. I think they're the only 2 drivers that have decided not to come out, and that's fine. I'm sure they'll be out in a moment. In fact, it looks like Downey is out now. Yep, he just exits pit lane now, so he will be putting his first lap in when drivers are putting in their second. But here comes the man of the qualifying hour. I would say hour, it's not really. In the qualifying minutes, we are riding on board here with Vukovic, who is going to try his hardest, I'm sure, to put in a very good lap here and get himself to the top of the standings. He wasn't able to do it on his first lap at Daytona. He did require that second lap to go to the top of the standings. Is that going to be the case here? It looks like it is going to possibly be Zach Gould, who will be the first name that pops up on our left-hand side in the 138 machine, as he comes through turn number 9. Vukovic comes through turn number 4, however, pushing it straight to the edge there, trying not to touch grass and get an off track. In fact, I can see that our divisions are split, and I want to make them one division. So we will show that again in one division. But here comes Vukovic. It is Jared Swain who is the first man across the line. Henriquez goes faster, only just though, very close between the two there, 2 different divisions. Swain holds on ahead of Edgar. Hadden goes into third in class, followed by Joel Swain. Here comes Vukovic. Ian Lane goes fastest overall at the moment. Can Vukovic go faster? Conrad Bradbury, another new name. He goes into second as Vukovic goes across the timing line. Will it go to the top? It will, by 0.2 of a second ahead of Stephen Hurd, who moved ahead of Lane. I really like if Jared Swain and Joel Swain could confirm if they are in fact related. It'd be great to know. Marcus Law, a name that we pointed out in practice as being a driver who was looking pretty quick. He is running around in second right now and has closed that gap down to almost 1.5 seconds to Vukovic. Matt Neal out on track. He's on wet tyres. I'm not sure if he's aware that he is on wet tyres, but Matt Neal is on wet tyres and will therefore not really compete too much with these drivers, I'm sure. I'm hoping that someone will tell Neil that he is on those wet compounder tyres. 3 minutes left on the clock here, but we are watching Marcus Law, new driver this week coming into the series. Could he take it to Milan Vukovic and take pole position away from him for the first time this season? Can Neil Rocks find any time and move himself up to where all the Division 1 drivers are? He's currently in the midst of the Division 2 drivers. That's not going to help him, but that is all the Division 1 drivers currently at the top, apart from Clayton McBuller, who is yet to put in a lap time. Here comes Marcus Law, round turn number 9. Stephen Hurd goes into second by 7 thousandths of a second. But unfortunately for him, Vukovic improved as well. Just snuck pole position. Can Marcus Law do anything? It is an improvement. But the top 3 drivers, that is our closest qualifying yet. The top 3 drivers, all within a 10th of a second at the very top of the standings there. With 1:50 to go, it looks like we do still have Downey out there on track right now. And Matt Neal. Matt Neal on those wet tyres. I don't think he'll be able to do anything with that, as Downey abandons his lap, or at least runs off the circuit there. Here is Matt Neal. Like I say, he is on a wet compounder tyre here. Probably a default to wet tyres from his race last week at Daytona. Most of these drivers only ever getting into the Clios in the iRacing Renault Clio League that we have here today. So if this is the only time he's driven it since last week, that's probably why he's on those wet tyres. Surprisingly, Clayton McBuller, the only Division 1 driver not with the rest of the Division 1 field. And that's actually going to really hamper him, because he has got to get past a lot of drivers before he actually starts to gain any additional points. And in the heat races, the top 8 score points. This is the top 6 even. So he's really got to make his move through the field and up the order. I can't remember if it's the top 8 or top 6 off the top of my head. But here comes Matt Neal. If he can put a lap time in, he'll go ahead of Zach Gould. He does. Zach Gould without a lap time and down pit lane, as Downey is back out again, and he is doing some awesome stuff in his machine. Obviously, this is his second lap, but qualifying is going to come to a close here then. So let's see if we can very quickly run through the results page here. Well, our grid page, should I say. So we're looking at heat number 1 is going to be your left-hand side, your odd numbers. They're going to line up now. So I'm very quickly going to run through the order. You've got Vukovic, who will start on pole yet again in heat race 1. Then you've got Marcus Law, new name. He'll start just behind. Then it will be... No, it looks like, get me wrong here, we're going for 1 heat race today. Everyone out on track for heat race today means this is your qualifying order. Vukovic ahead of Hurd, ahead of Law, ahead of Cook, ahead of Lane, ahead of Bradbury. As we go to the next page, then it'll become Henriquez and Rocks. Heading the Division 2 is going to be Swaim, Edgar, Nagel, Hadland. Following him is McIntyre, Hilton, Swaim again, but this time Joel Swaim, Riley Downey. Then it's the Division 1 of Clayton McBuller not getting a lap time that he would have hoped for, down in 17th overall. Followed by Matt Neal. And at the very back of the field, we have Zach Gould. He did not set a lap time. But all drivers are going to be out on the field, it looks like, which is the first time I think that has happened this season. It is the first time that has happened this season. As there we go, we get a nice little camera shot of the field. Do we have a fixed camera? Would be nice. We do. Perfect. I love a static camera on the opening lap of the race. But all 19 drivers, this happens when the field, I believe, is less than 20 drivers. We combine for 1 heat race. And this is going to mean that we only have 3 races today, but it's going to be a fantastic one. 10 minutes of racing is green. We are away for heat race number 1 here. 19 cars out on the field, 9 Division 1 drivers, 10 Division 2 drivers. They head up to turn number 1 for the first time in a big gaggle of drivers. No getting used to a smaller field to start with today. They've got to head out, all of them at the same time. A few side-by-side actions towards the back as they go through Noah's Ark, 2 by 2 by 2. A little bit of a wobble there towards the back of the field, as I believe that was Clayton McBuller getting involved, but Jared Swain leads Division 2. But as expected, Vukovic leads Division number 1 from the lead of this race. Here they go, up towards the chicane for the first time, as we've got a nice battle going on here. We've got a great battle also going towards the back. We're going 3 wide up towards the chicane here on the opening lap, and we've got contact. 3, 4 cars involved in that one. A lot of damage for a number of drivers. Zach Gould was the driver at the very back, avoiding all of that. But some meatball flags handed out to Clayton McBuller and Joel Swain. A real shame indeed. But McBuller, that is what you get when you don't qualify with your division. Sometimes in that push to try and move up the order, you just can't quite do it. You get involved in some contacts, and that is what happened there. Here is Hurd, though, on the rear end of Milan Jukovic. That's Marcus Law trying to get involved as well. This is, if I'm not mistaken, one of the first times, if not the first time, that Milan Vukovic and Stephen Hurd are actually in the same heat race together. I don't believe they started the same heat race before, because I'm sure most of the time Hurd is going into heat race number 2, but I might be wrong there. Very probably wrong. My memory is shocking. But it is 2.5 tenths between Vukovic and Hurd out front at the moment. Jared Swain has put Neil Rocks between himself and the rest of the Division 2 field, which is really good for him, because he's not going to have to worry so much about those drivers behind him here, as we continue to watch the drivers come through to finish lap number 2. About 8 laps expected in this one. Let's see if we can get the interval so we can see the gap between each driver. Vukovic puts in the purple lap, Henriquez puts in the purple lap. Again, that slipstream just behind. In fact, it looks like Henriquez is going for a little bit of a fight here, or is that actually just behind him? It is. It's Neil Rocks making his way back past Jared Swain. Swain wanted that Division 1 driver between himself and the rest of the Division 2 field. Didn't quite go that way. Joel Swain, Clayton McBuller, both in pit lane, could be out of this race. It doesn't look like they're coming back out onto the field, but they will be preparing themselves for the feature race, of course. 2 feature races. Feature race 1 decided by the results of this race, and feature race 2 will be an invert. And I once again forgot to look at what that invert was going to be, but I will check it out before we get into that second feature race of the day. Up towards the chicane then, the drivers are finding themselves pretty single file right now. A couple of different racing lines through the final corner. This is Conrad Bradbury that we're going to be riding on board with. That's number 18 machine. He's 6th overall, 6th in class. He's got Ian Lane ahead of him. Bradbury, one of 2 new drivers today in the Division 1 field, alongside Marcus Law. Heading up towards turn number 1, it's Hurd, who has gone fastest overall last lap. He's, again, you can see up in the distance, running a slightly different racing line to those around him, as Henriquez and Neil Rocks swapping positions behind. It looks like they're all setting themselves down, though, as Rocks has made his way past Luis Henriquez for 7th. Henriquez down to 8th, still taking advantage, obviously, of the drivers ahead of him in the championship not being here today, which will help him out moving up the championship order. We can see once more that that gap at the front is closing down. And in fact, one of my favourite camera angles, we're not going to be able to do it because here comes Hurd. He's on the right-hand side. Vukovic is on the left-hand side. They go side by side into the chicane. Hurd backs out, allows Vukovic to have it. It's really hard to go side by side there. That being said, Ian Lane goes up the inside of John Cook and takes 4th position, but they are still side by side on the exit. Side by side between Richard Edgar and Jared Swain behind for the lead in Division 2. Here they are, and Swain moves across for the slipstream on Richard Edgar. They head up towards turn number 1. We can see Rocks looking for Bradbury, ahead. He makes a move. Swain ducks behind. Neil Rocks has moved from 9th overall to 6th overall in just a couple of laps. He is recovering nicely here. Marcus Law is keeping in touch with his leading 2 drivers, whereas John Cook is falling back just a little bit, and he has Ian Lane all over the rear. We're just over halfway through this race in time and laps. On to lap 5 of the 8 expected here. Right now, they look like they're all going single file. Now we can go onto this camera that I liked so much last week. We're riding on board with Milan Vukovic. He's got Stephen Hurd behind, and that is off the circuit. Marcus Law goes off the circuit in 3rd. He's going to lose a little bit of time in that number 1 machine. He doesn't lose any positions though, so he is going to hold on to that bit. Once again, Neil Rocks is looking to move up the order from a slow start to an incredible recovery here, as that's a move up front as well. Going for the overtake on the right hand side is Stephen Hurd for the lead of this race. He can't do it, and it looks like Lane has lost that position to Neil Rocks. Rocks up to 5th place now. Changes abound in the Division 1 field. The Division 2 field looking a little bit more comfortable, as we have only got really the top 4 together before there's then a bit of a jump. I'm going to try and get my positioning in order here on my live timing now, and that's what I've done. Swayman but Buller out of this race at the very back as a reminder, but this is the fight we're watching. It's the fight for the lead. Milan Vukovic has gone from pole to the win in every heat race won so far this season. Can he do the same? He is under a lot of pressure from Hurd and Law. Law has actually pulled back up towards this leading fight, and he's pulling John Cook with him. Once again, Vukovic pulls to the right-hand side, the inside line of turn 1, to go defensive. He does it nicely, trying to go for sort of up and over there for Stephen Hurd. Tried to tuck to the inside, but there's just not enough room. These cars, they don't push out wide. You can keep a very nice line. Another mistake from Marcus Law. Here comes John Cook. He's on the inside. It will turn to the outside. Cook backs out. Is he going to try the up and over here? He tries it, but again, these cars just don't do that very well with how slow they are. Back towards the leading fight, though. Is Hurd going to be able to do anything for Vukovic? It is going to be white flag next time around. Hurd looks to the inside of turn 6. He backs out sensibly, but will he back out next lap on the final lap if he's in the same position again? Round the final turn they go, up towards the timing line and the final lap of this race. As Vukovic crosses the line, there's the white flag being waved. It is the final lap of this race. Here comes Hurd. Vukovic waits until quite late to go defensive. He lost a little bit of time in that swerve, but Hurd knows he's not going to be able to hold it around the outside. Tucks in behind. He knows his opportunity is probably going to be up towards turn 6 in that chicane. He's got to lay out turn 3 correctly. He's got to lay out turn 4 correctly. Different racing lines turn 4. Vukovic stuck on the tighter line. Could give Hurd a great opportunity. Hurd is all over his bumper, but don't count out Marcus Law, because Law is involved in this one. And on the final lap of Heat Race 1, here comes Marcus Law to the inside of Stephen Hurd. Is he going to stick it up there? He's going to try. He just doesn't have the overlap through to the final turn. Is it going to remain as is as they come out of the final turn? Milan Jukovic defends the lead here at Portland ahead of Hurd, Law and Cook. Riley Downey, where did that come from in the background? We were so focused on the Division 1 lead that the Division 2 lead changed without us noticing. Something happened in that one. And Jared Swain took second in class. What a great result, and what on earth happened there in Division 2. But let's not think about it, because Feature Race 1 is coming up. But here are your results to Heat Race 1. Milan Vukovic won just ahead of Stephen Hurd. Marcus Law took third position ahead of John Cook. Neil Rocks took fifth ahead of Ian Lane, Luis Henriquez and Conrad Bradbury. Riley Downey, out of nowhere, won the race for the Division 2 field, and behind him, Jared Swain. 11th overall, third in class was Anders Hagland. Richard Edgar took home fourth, followed by Peter McIntyre, Jurgen Nagel, Anthony Hilton, Zach Gould and Matt Neal, who was, I believe, still on those wet compounder tyres in that race. Out of that race then was Clayton McBuller and Joel Swain. They'll be starting feature race number 1, which is now, because there's no heat race number 2, we're straight into this one as drivers grid up and prepare here. We're going to get a nice static camera once more for our race start here at Portland. I don't know why I keep on wanting to say Virginia. It's not. It is Portland. But we are lining up on the grid, ready for this second one. About 30 seconds before we head away. So the grid order being the same order as our race results. So Vukovic starting at the front ahead of Hurd and Law. We saw that Hurd and Law both had a real chance in that heat race. This is a longer race, a 15-minute race, about 12 laps. So we should see, hopefully, a real opportunity for those drivers behind. Everyone on dry tyres here. It looks like Matt Neal's learned that he was on the wets. He's put on the dries. And we're going to prepare ourselves for 15 minutes of racing for feature race number 1. We are green and away here for feature race 1 at Portland. It is Jukovic and Hurd off from the front. Lane and Henriquez swapping around positions ever so slightly there. But it looks like they've sorted themselves out as we head up to turn number 1 there once again. 2x2x2 from about 4th onwards. There's contact behind. The Formula Lava machine is off the track, but he is back on. He has recovered. He's back at the rear of the field as Nagel has a black flag, and that is Peter McIntyre, who fell down the order here at the very start of this one. But it is Jurgen Nagel, who was 5th in Division 2, who has received the meatball flag. That's not what he would have wanted at all from that race start. We've got Ian Lane here going side by side with Riley Downey, leading, of course, the Division 2 category. As there's a big wobble in the background, and I believe that is Jurgen Nagel possibly off. It is. You could just tell with the wobble that was definitely a suspension damage incident. Clayton McBuller has moved up to 16th here, but both Riley Downey and Jared Swain has moved up past Division 1 drivers. That's exactly what they are going to want. Place themselves with some Division 1 drivers between themselves and the rest of the field, because there are no points for overall positions. The points are just for class positions. So therefore, Ian Lane, he sits 9th overall, but he is going to take 7th place in class points. But it does mean that Riley Downey, Jared Swain, they've got 2 cars between themselves, and Anders Hagland, who sits 3rd in class. Swain's going to want to win this one, losing out to Downey right at the very end of the race. Jürgen Nagel back out on track here, so has repaired his car, but we are watching the fight for first. And here goes Stephen Hurd, once again to the right-hand side. He tried this move in Heat Race 1. It didn't work. Is it going to work here? No! He's had to back out again. And once again, Vukovic holds the lead here on lap 2. But what a great exit from Hurd. He has to move to the left because Vukovic defends straight away. But that is a great amount of speed. Hurd could have the overlap towards turn number 1 to go defensive. It's not quite. They're side by side, but Hurd is ahead. Who is going to get this position? Law thinks it's going to be Vukovic because he sticks to the inside. It is going to be Vukovic. He does stick to the inside and take the lead. Law still has to slot in behind Stephen Hurd, who is trying all manner of things to take the lead in this race. Can someone finally knock Vukovic off the top step? McBooler continues to move his way through the order down at the back of the field. He's 16th at the moment overall. He moved past Matt Neal. He's just dropped back behind those. He's going to have to do a little bit more than that. There he goes. He's back through again. But once again, Hurd to the right-hand side. Is he going to get any sort of boost behind? Is he going to be able to hold it this time? He backs out a lot earlier that time. Marcus Law, caught out by it, is off the circuit. Marcus Law is down the order after being in 3rd all weekend long. He falls down to 8th overall and 6th in class. Just caught out by Stephen Hurd, backing out a little bit earlier than normal. As it is, Stephen Hurd to the left-hand side, once again trying the outside of Vukovic. He can't do it, and he is going to tuck in behind as he go up towards turn 2. Just continuation from turn 1 and through turn number 3. You can see the smallest amount of different racing lines. Hurd just trying to do anything to find the advantage. He gets a little bit wider into turn 4. Is it going to give him the speed again? Is he going to go to the right again? Vukovic holds the right. Here goes Hurd to the left. Vukovic runs as wide as he possibly can. He knows he wants to be on that inside line up to the chicane. Hurd is going to slow down once more. But is he going to go for the exit this time? It looks like he's trying to get a good run up onto the pit straight, like he did a little bit of a while ago, and get himself side by side nice and early. Lights flashing from Stephen Hurd. He wants this position. He wants to get past Vukovic. Vukovic holds the inside again. Stephen Hurd to the outside again. Battles behind. Neil Rocks up the inside of John Cook. Up the inside of Stephen Hurd. There's contact. Rocks goes sideways. He holds it. He's back on track. He's got John Cook around the outside. He's allowed Swain to go. Sorry, he's allowed Henriquez to get past Downey and try to battle with Swain now. And Henriquez is through, but it's 3 abreast into turn 4. These aren't even awful positions. It is mixed D1 and D2 drivers back there. But there is now only side by side for Downey and Henriquez. Hurd has dropped a little bit off of Vukovic, so we can watch this battle here as we head into the chicane. They continue to be side by side. They sort themselves out, and Downey stays ahead of Luis Henriquez. I really thought Neil Rocks was about to take out Stephen Hurd from second position in this race. But can we just remind you, in heat race number 1, Neil Rocks was having to fight with the Division 2 drivers to get his way back up the field. He did that, and now he is fighting for the podium once more. This is Downey. He is pushing, he is getting pushed by Luis Henriquez. Henriquez knows it's not a position for points ahead of him. Is it worth pushing Riley into a fight with Jared Sway and get them both out of the way so we can try and catch up to Neil Rocks and John Cook for third? Bit of a gap now to Vukovic and Hurd ahead of this train of drivers, but that fight for the lead certainly isn't over. It's about half a second between them right now. 2 different racing lines for the lead of Division 2. Downey moves to the right-hand side. Jared Swain to the left-hand side. It's the inside of turn number 6 as they run side by side. Is there going to be contact? No. They sort themselves out. Downey going for the faster exit. Looks to the inside of Jared Swain. Couldn't do it. Swain continues to lead the way in Division 2. He couldn't take the win in heat race 1, but it is maximum points on offer for the win in feature race 1. Can he take this one? It matters more. What matters to Henriquez, though, is pushing Riley Downey. Is he going to go for the move? He moves to the right. Downey moves to the left. Henriquez up the inside. And all 3 of them wide. Swain, Downey off the track. Downey leads Division 2. Swain down to second. They've invited Division 2 Championship leader Anthony Hilton back into this race. Anders Hagland has dropped to 4th in class, but is not giving up. The fight at the front has swapped around. It's opened up, and they are taking a bit of a breather with 6 minutes left on the clock right now. That's about 5 more laps at the end of this one. Up towards the chicane once more. Swain and Downey somehow still lead the way in Division 2. But off the track goes Riley Downey. Here comes Jared Swain to the right-hand side. Will be trying to do it on just pure drag racing along the drag strip of the front straight. Up towards turn number 1. It is going to be Swain on the inside, Downey on the outside. There's contact. Swain takes it. Ian Lane is slow ahead of them. Side by side for third behind. Anders has taken third. Hilton fighting for 4th. He's got Clayton McBuller and Richard Edgar. McBuller still trying to make his way up the order. If he stays right at the back and gets involved in the invert, well, he'll be starting very high up compared to the other Division 1 drivers. That invert could be Clayton McBuller's saving grace this week. McBuller not inside the top 10 of the championship. Could he do it with the invert race? Let's find out. Close between Bradbury and Henriquez. This is for 6th in the Division 1 category right now. As, well, just everyone deciding to go a bit off-road there. That was Law ahead going off-road. Following him was Bradbury. Henriquez kept it more on track, and Henriquez has used that to his advantage, and he moves through for 6th position. Hurd now half a second back from Vukovic. This could be Vukovic's opportunity right now to just pull away. I think he took it with that incident behind where Hurd just had that little bit of contact with Neil Rocks. Vukovic has really taken full advantage of that, and it's just pulling through. Well, pulling away more than pulling through. Pulling through is still Clayton McBuller. He still remains in this fight of the Division 2 drivers behind. He's stuck behind the D2 Championship leader, Anthony Hilton. Hilton was in third past Hagland early in the race. He's fallen back to 4th. the championship leader, is going to want to take that third here, because Riley Downey won heat race 1, sorry. He is in second right now, fighting for the lead in feature race 1, and he is only 8 points behind in the championship. Downey could take the lead of the championship here in D2 with how his races are going. Hilton is going to need to move into third to really try and pull some points back and really take advantage of that invert, with the fact that Downey is going to be starting near the rear of the D2 field. Depends on how many drivers are included in the invert. With only 19 drivers, the entire field could be in that invert today, which would put Nagel at the front ahead of Swain. Unless it's the top 15, Zach Gould, or top 14, because Zach Gould has had a great opportunity all season long to start on pole position in the inverted grid. Will the same happen today? He runs side by side with Richard Edgar. This is for 5th in class, and Gould holds it. Gould sitting 8th in the championship right now. So he is doing a decent job sitting inside the top 10. Those inverts have certainly helped him, but he hasn't been able to fully take advantage of those races just yet. I could see some fighting going on just ahead. This is Anthony Hilton and Clayton McBuller. They're side by side, and can McBuller finally get past another D2 driver? They're side by side, and he's going to hold it. McBuller's going to have contact, a little bit of netco for sure, but there was inevitably going to be contact there. McBuller slows down and let Anthony Hilton through. Sir, I salute you. I am giving you a very big round of applause there. That was a great thing to do. Not purposeful contact. Did not have to give that position back. They're not even in the same class. But Clayton McBuller, being the bigger driver there, just backing out as this is a fight for P6. It is Henriquez up the inside of Bradbury. Can't do that move just yet for 6th place. But through turn 3 and up to turn 4, can Henriquez find some speed on the exit of turn 4 here? It's going to be white flag next lap. We said the gap at front was half a second. Throw that out the window, because it's down to a 10th once more with 1 lap on the board. It's Vukovic on the inside, Hard on the outside. They settle it down and get behind the other once more into the final 2 corners. For some reason it's 2. Into turn 8, through turn 9, and onto the drag strip. Here we go. Is this gonna be an opportunity for Stephen Hurd? Vukovic is trying to jump over the pit wall to try and hold the inside line. It's side by side once more on the white flag lap as we head up towards turn 1. Vukovic has got the overlap, but here comes Hurd. He tucks it in behind. He can't do it just yet, but he's got one more proper chance. That's turn number 4. Let's get the exit up towards turn 6. See if he can get this great run that he had a little while ago. There's contact. Vukovic brakes just a little bit earlier. Was that intentional? The gap between Vukovic and Hurd is closing, but nowhere near as much as Hurd would have been hoping. It's all going to be about how the exit is going to work here as we go up towards turn 6 into turn 7. It's Vukovic ahead, a little bit wide from Hurd, but no mistakes from Vukovic. Just running a perfect line, and Milan Vukovic wins feature race 1 just again ahead of Stephen Hurd. John Cook takes 3rd place, and once more it's Riley Downey winning again in Division 2. Jared Swain again losing positions at the end. In fact, he lost 2nd to Anders Hurd. What a race! What a fantastic race that was! Oh my word, I'm going to have to breathe just a moment there. It always gets exciting right at the very end. Let's have a look at the race results from feature race 1 here at Portland. I don't know why I'm still trying to go for Virginia. Oh my word. Do you know what? It's not needing a glass of water. It's the fact that I spat all over my introductory sheet and it has my track map on it and now I can't read my track map. It's fine because Vukovic wins again here in feature race 1. It is Stephen Hurd who took second ahead of John Cook. Neil Rocks took home 4th ahead of Marcus Law. Conrad Bradbury took home 6th and Ian Lane in 7th. Riley Downey once again wins Division 2, which will put him to the lead of the Division 2 Championship. I think no matter what the result of feature race 2 is, Riley Downey will be leading the D2 Championship as we head into round 5 in a couple of weeks. Luis Henriquez finished 8th in class in the end, and Anders Hagland took 2nd in class, ahead of Jared Swaim, who took home 3rd. Clayton McBuller took home 9th in class, 12th overall. Then the rest of the field is all Division 2 drivers. Anthony Hilton, Championship leader, took home 4th in class, ahead of Richard Edgar. Matt Neal took home 15th after swapping off of his wet tyres and onto the dries for this race. Zach Gould took 16th, Peter McIntyre in 17th. Joel Swain took 18th and Jürgen Nagel took 19th. Right, let's have a little look at see if I can find out for you guys the invert for this one. The entire field is going to be inverted. The entire field is going to have an invert today, which means that we are going to see Nagel on pole position. We are going to see Vukovic in last, 19th place. We will be back in a moment's time here from the Portland International Raceway as we prepare for feature race 2. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back in just a minute's time. The drivers here at Portland are going to be preparing to grid up for the second feature race of the day, and our final race of the day is a complete invert, putting Nagel at the very front of the field. In fact, let's have a little bit of a reminder for you guys of how the grid is going to line up. 19th place, Jürgen Nagel is going to start from pole position ahead of Joel Swain. Then it is going to be Peter McIntyre, followed by Zach Gould, who does not start on pole position this race for one of the first times this season. Matt Neal will then start behind ahead of Richard Edgar. Anthony Hilton, Clayton McBuller can take full advantage of this in the D1 class from his starting position. Then it's Swaim. Then it is whoever's in 10th position, Anders Hagland. Then it will be Luis Henriquez, Riley Downey, Ian Lane, Bradbury, Law, Rocks, Cook. Hurd and Vukovic fighting hard there, along with Marcus Law up until his mistake. They're going to have to make their way through the field. So this is going to be a very interesting race indeed, as drivers are getting onto the field and preparing themselves for the final race of the day. I hope you guys are ready for the final race of the day. My voice is ready for the final race of the day. A minute 30 and these drivers head out on track. Of course, as a reminder, there is no race next Saturday, but hit that follow button here on Twitch so you are notified when all of the races are live. To make up for no race next week, we are going to be releasing the Matt Malone Patreon League season review next Saturday, which will be broadcast live here on Twitch first. It'll be a good couple of hours, so make sure that you are buying your popcorn so you are ready to watch that. We have great special guests in Slugger and in Bob's Jelly. So I am excited to share that one with you. If you want to get your races broadcasted, then be sure to head over to the brand new Beehive Build website when it releases within the next couple of weeks, so you can hire me to yell just as strangely and passionately at your league events. We've got 30 seconds left on the clock before we start the final race of the day. And the final race for a couple of weeks. And the final race on the American soil in the Renault Clio League as we head across to Japan next week and then to Australia before we finish off the second half of the season all on the European continent. 20 minutes on the clock for this race. That's estimating to be 16 laps of racing, and these invert grids are always fantastic to watch. Again, if you're new around here, hit that follow button, but we are prepared to get started for 20 minutes of racing. It's green and we are away here at Portland for feature race 2 and the final race of the day. They all fly past the camera. Vukovic there from the back. It's Nagel from the front. 19 cars, all of them reversed from our feature race 1 results. They go once again 2x2x2. In fact, they're going 2x2 for the lead. Joel Swaim takes the lead past Jürgen Nagel. Swaim debuting here today. Battles behind. They go 3 abreast as they try to sort themselves out and find a nice comfortable position. A big dive ahead of them. There's contact. And that is Anthony Hilton, championship leader, involved in that one. He holds on to it somehow and is still facing the correct direction. All the drivers are. And I believe for the first race of the day, we have no meatball flags on lap number 1. Zach Gould going the opposite way he's used to at the start of these races. He started in 4th. He's up to 3rd. He's past Peter McIntyre. Can he hold it? They go side by side. They go 3 wide, 4 wide. Are they going 4 wide as we head up towards turn number 1? Who is going to come out on this one? It's Gould, Edgar McBuller, I think. That is someone dropping back. Peter McIntyre backing down after going 4 wide. They settle themselves down as they head up towards turn number 2. Into turn number 1 they go, and it's almost 3 wide. It is 3 wide. It's back down to 2 wide as they go in order right now. I've forgotten to put the timing or tower up because I'm so focused on whatever on earth is happening in this fight. Gould is holding on ahead of Edgar. Clayton McBuller is trying his best to get involved in another dive up the inside. It's Wiley Downey. Somehow, some flipping way, he's come from 11th in class. 11th overall. No, even further down. He's moving up the order. He's 6th in class already from 10th. How has he done this? He's won the other 2 races in Division 2. Is he going to go 3 for 3? Nobody has done that in either division so far, and that includes Vukovic, but no, there's contact. Down he goes sideways. Drivers scatter so much, almost going into the pit lane. 4, 5, 6 cars side by side. What are they doing here at Portland? It's an inverted grid. It's not a circus. As they go up towards turn number 1, they just won all the positions. Fight still going on ahead, 2 by 2, but it's 3 by 3 by 3. How are they doing this? Contact ahead, drivers off. They're settling themselves down as they try to get through. But one of the benefiters somehow is Riley Downey. How is he doing this? He's 5th in class, looking for 4th in class. Up towards turn number 4, he's done it. He's up the inside. Riley Downey, man, where are you finding this speed? Riley Downey is 4th in class already. It's lap 3. How's he doing this? Talking about moving up the order, let's not ignore Vukovic. Up to 11th overall. Law's not been able to move up the order. Hurd is trying, but he's got two Division 2 drivers between himself and Vukovic. McBuller moves into second with a mistake from Joel Swaim. This is great for McBuller, but each individual positions, it isn't going to matter really, because it's all about class positions. And yes, he is 7 positions ahead of Luis Enriquez, but what that means is he's got 7 drivers between himself and losing the win here in feature race number 2. Right, I'm going to take a bit of a breather because they are settling themselves down. Not so much in this fight here. Riley Downey! What are you doing, man? How is he 3rd in class already? Riley Downey is on the podium in Division 2 after just 3.5 laps, starting at the back of his class. How is he doing this? Where is this man finding this speed? He is 6/10 behind Zach Gould, a fight behind Vukovic, side by side with Anthony Hilton. Hilton and Vukovic, they are not in the same class. Hilton does not care. Is he going to close the door? No. He sensibly backs out. He backs out a bit too hard. He's off the track. Up the inside goes Matt Neal, and he lost the position to a driver in Division 1, but then it loses him the position to a driver in Division 2 as Edgar is meatball flat on lap 4 of 16. Back up to the front because Riley Downey is still not content. Oh no, he's not. He goes purple and he goes through for second in class, but Gould swaps back over. What a move. Downey though holding it on the outside. They stay side by side. Downey's up the inside of Zach Gould through turn 3. They're going to run very different lines through turn 4. Downey has got Jared Swaim up his inside though. A lock up from Swaim pushes Downey off course. They're gonna try and split. Gould, there's contact. Huge contact for Zach Gould into the wall. Riley Downey down to 4th as Joel Swaim takes advantage of that and moves back through. Vukovic here had got past Neil Hagland. He's up to 7th overall. He is 3rd in class. Luis Enriquez directly ahead of him here on track is 2nd in class. He's then got to try and catch up to Clayton McBuller. Vukovic did win Division 1 every race he raced in last week, of course. He didn't win overall in feature race 2, but he did win Division 1 every race. Driver pulling over to the edge of the circuit there. It is going to be 4 cars abreast. No, 3 cars abreast. They sort themselves down as Riley Downey is side by side with Luis Enriquez. Enriquez is going to want to get Downey between himself and Vukovic here, but Downey just wants every position he can possibly get. It's still side by side. Contact behind as that's Anders Hagland. Contact with, I believe, Matt Neal, and Neal dives to the inside of Joel Swaim and takes that move for 7th position overall, but Swaim is coming back at it on the exit here as they go 3 wide. That is Stephen Hurd just behind. He's going to want to dispatch these 2 drivers. He can see Vukovic just ahead, but he's going to want to get past these drivers so he can get involved with Vukovic and try and win Division 1 here. Side by side behind for Hilton and Hagland. Hilton on the outside. Hagland up the inside. It looks like Hagland is going to hold on to that position just for now, but they are still checkerboarding Division 1, Division 2s up and down the field. I can see Vukovic moving to the right hand side, gets past Riley Downey as they all settle themselves down. Hurd has got past no one. He is still, no, he's got past Joel Swaim, it looks like. He has got past Joel Swaim, and he is in 4th in class. He's got Matt Neal and Riley Downey between himself and Vukovic. You can see there, Vukovic up ahead. McBuller has taken the overall lead in this race. Jürgen Nagel continues to lead Division 2. Matt Neal and Riley Downey fighting it out behind. This is for 3rd in class. Matt Neal gets a fantastic exit out of turn number 4 and gets a huge amount of time. How did he find that speed, and why could Hurd not find that speed compared to Vukovic in the previous 2 races? We're almost halfway through. That's it, only halfway. Hilton still side by side with drivers. This time it was Ian Lane. He runs off on the exit of 7 into 8. Through 9, he's wide again. So is Joel Swaim ahead. And it's 3 wide once more. But it's Bradbury and Ian Lane of the D1 category who have got the inside to Hilton. Hilton moves down behind Bradbury. Ian Lane getting pushed by Cook here. But is it going to be enough? And it is, because Hilton moves to the right to defend. Hilton fighting these Division 1 drivers like his life depends on it. It's all about bragging rights for a lot of these drivers. It doesn't matter what division they're in. They want every position they possibly can get. And Anthony Hilton right now, 7th in class, is not what the championship leader ordered here. Continuing to fight for their positions is Matt Neal and Riley Downey. Downey is just stuck just a little bit too much behind Matt Neal right now. Up ahead though, this is Henriquez looking to get past Jared Swaim. He does it, but did he cut that corner there from the way that he ran off track? He certainly got an off track. Will it be a slowdown up towards the line here as Matt Neal has had an issue down past Downey and Hurd, which gives Downey 3rd in class once more. Swaim following Vukovic, but Vukovic just not able to touch Enriquez here. Swaim just falling down with that little bit of a fight, little bit of a mistake, but it's not the positions he cares about, well, that he needs to care about. The position he needs to care about is Riley Downey behind. Now, Nagel has got some great gap up ahead, actually, to the rest of his Division 2 drivers. He's really taken full advantage of the P1 grid spot, as that is issues behind, and Ian Lane without a bumper. Ooh, it looks like there has been some contact there. Let's go a little bit further back and see what's happened for Ian Lane, the league moderator here, the league admin. Oh, a little bit of a wobble just ahead of him from Joel Swaim, and he gets in contact, and that is the front gone for him, and that will be quite a substantial amount of damage for Ian Lane. Back on the field, Zach Gould out of this race after slamming into the barriers earlier with the contact with Downey. Talking about Downey, looks like Stephen Hurd has just got past him, puts Downey back under pressure now from Matt Neal, and here comes Neal. Downey does not even try to defend that inside. He allows Neal to get that inside line. They're side by side here, up towards turn number 1. Downey's got quite a nice bit of speed on the outside, but because it runs straight into turn 2, it's such a long right-hander combo that there's no way you could have held it around the outside on Matt Neal. Neal moves back into 3rd in class. We'll try to defend that here, but a different racing line for Riley Downey. Slightly tighter line. Will it give him the speed on the exit, or is he just trying to force Neal into a possible mistake maybe? Bit of a lock-up perhaps as they head up towards turn number 6. 7 minutes on the clock. Your order at the moment has just changed because we saw it just up ahead. Vukovic side by side with Henriquez takes the position into turn number 6, which gives him 2nd in class. He is 4 seconds off of Nagel, the Division 2 leader, and about 4.8 seconds off of McBuller. Now, he hasn't got any other drivers to overtake. Could he somehow find his way up towards them? And if so, could Jared Swaim take advantage of that and get up to Jürgen Nagel? Swaim, of course, 3rd in the championship. Had some good results here today. Would definitely keep him in 3rd. In fact, probably put him ahead of Hilton, who currently is the Division 2 Championship leader. Vukovic is just going to continue to dominate out front. But remember this. 4 heat races, 4 feature 1s, 4 feature 2s are all going to be dropped. So of the 12 of each of those races that you compete, only 8 of them are going to count. Which means Vukovic's points are soaring ahead right now, but they're going to be dropped. Those wins and dominant results will be dropped because he has only won heat races so far. He has only won feature race 1 so far. And he has had some strong results in feature race 2. That being said, I do think his feature race 2 at Laguna will be dropped. That wasn't a great result for Vukovic, as he was really down the order in that reverse grid race. But it does mean that other drivers, if they can get their consistency up, these poorer races that they're doing, the races where they're not attending, aren't going to impact as much. Realistically, if you think you can have 8 really strong races, you can be away for 4 weeks. You know, drivers today that aren't here, you know, El Hilary, really good championship contender. Matt Malone, a really strong driver. Bob Poplar, a driver who we've seen as a really aggressive driver, really likes to move away through the order. All of those drivers aren't here today. They'll just be a drop week for them. They haven't got to worry too much. They've still got 3 other drop weeks. That being said, Matt Malone has got to worry. So is El Hilary. Both of them having really poor results at Daytona. Matt Malone crashing a number of times, trying the dry tyres on the wet track strategy. And El Hilary having a disconnect and just not having a great weekend. Less than 5 minutes left on the clock, and somehow, hello Division 2 leader, we had a Division 2 overall winner last week at Daytona. Something's happened to McBuller. He has had some sort of mistake because he has fallen back down to second. What has happened into turn 6, 7, 8, 9 complex? There's only a chicane in one corner, but he's gone wide at turn 7. He's off in turn 8. Will he avoid the wall of turn 9? He does. Just. McBuller almost throwing away the win here. Just taking a moment there. Had to sneeze. I do apologise. But it is Nagel back into the overall lead here. But that mistake from Buller has invited Vukovic towards him. Because surely, with just 2 seconds between them now, even with only 3 laps to go, Vukovic is going to really be thinking a win is once again on the cards. Keep on going, trying to hide my sneezes that I'm constantly doing right now, but this is a fight going on right now for Marcus Law. Law trying to get past Matt Neal. He wants to fight Conrad Bradbury just ahead, not Neal, but he has no choice. Matt Neal is just fighting him hard right now. Slipstream to high. Marcus Law in the slipstream of Matt Neal, going to try and overtake the D2 driver, as is Bradbury, getting up the inside of Riley Downey. Downey's still 3rd in class and looking to get yet another podium in the D2 races this week. Had a fantastic result at Daytona, and he is replicating that here today. Henriquez still right behind Vukovic for 2nd in class. It's still 2 seconds to McBuller ahead. Coming up to 2 laps to go. McBuller, unless he makes a mistake, must be feeling pretty safe right now, as he should. A mistake would throw him off for sure, but I don't think Vukovic can make it. Henriquez, will he be looking at trying to get through into 2nd, or is he going to be happy with this 3rd place result? Cook is fighting Marcus Law here. They're both behind Matt Neal. Law tried to get past Neal last lap, couldn't do it, and it's invited Cook back into this. That's Mr. Anders in the T2 just behind, and off the track goes Matt Neal. He slides. There's contact with Marcus Law, but they settle themselves down. Clayton McBuller is responding to his mistake. He goes purple. going on to lap 15 of this race. Those tyres are dead, and he is throwing caution to the wind, putting in the purple lap, down to 0.7 of a second ahead as that is off the circuit. Riley Downey, he rejoins, and through goes Matt Neal. Matt Neal takes third in class. Riley Downey is going to be overtaken by Anders Hagland up the inside. Downey's going to look to the inside, and Neal go for that late break move. Lock up from Neal. Downey holds the inside. It's 4 cars involved. Neal rocks behind, but Rox is a D1 driver. It's the D2 drivers of Neal, Hagland, Downey fighting out for third in class. Rox is getting involved, and Downey won't like that. He's stuck on the outside, could lose this position to Rox. And he is going to lose position to Rox. And he's not going to be able to fight back for third in class. In fact, he's down to 5th in class as the white flag, is it out? Yes, it is. We're on to the last lap of the race. And here goes Luis Henriquez for second in the D1 class. McBuller is back into the lead at the overall race. Side by side, Vukovic holds the outside somehow. It will give him the inside of turn 3. There's contact, and wide goes Henriquez. Jared Swain moves through, and that defends Vukovic's position for sure. As continuing to fight behind, more contact, but through goes Riley Downey for third in class. But here comes Neal Rox. A lockup, a contact, and a spin, and around they go. Huge contact for a lot of the D2 drivers, and there's Denny Hilton, D2 championship leader, takes third in class ahead of Peter McIntyre. But it is Clayton McBuller who wins here in D1. Jürgen Nagel who wins D2. Matt Neal makes a mistake in the final turn and could lose the position to Joel Swaim as well. Drivers towards the back. Anders Hagland, and driver who has done so well, Riley Downey, all caught up in that last lap issue. Let's watch it once more. This was that final fight. This was a third in class. It's Matt Neal ahead. Contact with Anders Hagland there. Here comes Downey on the left-hand side. That's Neal Rox pushing Downey. There's a little bit of a lock-up here. Rox goes to the inside. There's contact. Rox moves to the right. There's just not enough space for all 3 of them. And it's just a pinball effect. And they are all caught up in it. And in fact, we're going to ride on board, if we can, with Neal Rox. Let's just watch it from his view. He can see this fight ahead of him. Coming up towards turn number 4, he's going to take full advantage of this. Remember, Neal Rox is not involved in this fight. These are all D2 drivers. He's D1. He gets involved. He gets in the middle and just turns Matt Neal, who turns Downey. He turns into Hagland. Neal does get back on track, but there is Anthony Hilton. Through he goes. Absolute pandemonium at the end of that race, but that race is over and we are going to get the final results of the day. Let's talk through them here. What a fantastic race that has been. Feature race results then. This is from feature 2. Clayton McBuller wins feature race 2 ahead of Jürgen Nagel. Nagel winning division 2 category. Vukovic recovered from 19th on the grid to 3rd in that invert. Jared Swain took 4th. Luis Henriquez took 5th and 3rd in class ahead of Stephen Hurd, who also recovered really well. Conrad Bradbury moved up to 7th out of Marcus Law and John Cook. Anthony Hilton moved up to 10th place overall. Neal Rox was 11th, followed by Peter McIntyre, Ian Lane. Then it was Matt Neal, Joel Swaim, and then the contact and the craziness at the end. But Anders Hagland and Riley Downey down the order. Richard Edgar a lap down, and Zach Gould out of the race early on. can we see our position gained in that one actually at the end of the race? So Vukovic, as expected, the biggest gainer on that race. So we'll move up the order. These look like class positions though. That's a good question to ask. Actually, I should ask Ian Lane. Are the positions gained overall positions or class positions? Interesting to know. But Jared Swain gained 6, which is great job from him. And Anthony Hilton gained 4 with the issues ahead of him by the end of that one. Now, a reminder, we are not here next week. We won't be back out on track until August 23rd. But do follow the Beehive Bill Twitch channel because we will still be live next Saturday and I don't want you to miss it. We will be debuting the season review video of the Matt Malone Patreon League. It'll be a nice 2-hour broadcasted event that has special events. Special guests that have had some wonderful interviews, such as Bob Shelley and Slegger. And it is going to be a great thing to share with you, so catch it next Saturday. And also head over to the Beehive Bill Broadcasting YouTube channel. You can catch up with all of the previous live streams, all of the extended highlight videos, plus the review video will be on there, available to watch next Sunday. So if you aren't able to catch the live stream, you can still watch the event. But that being said, Tsukuba is the next round, round number 5 on August 23rd. The Moto 2000 circuit, I believe it is. So the shorter circuit of them all. I hope you have had a fantastic day today. I certainly have. Some absolutely amazing racing here at Portland International Raceway. If you've enjoyed the broadcast, do hit that follow button here on Twitch. As we lost all audio there, I do apologise. Yeah, if you want to support us even further, you can subscribe here on Twitch, and it allow me to continue bringing these events to you for these amazing leagues that are out there. If you would like me to broadcast your league events, then please do get in touch with me on anywhere, YouTube, Twitch, on Discord. But you will have a great way to contact me in a couple of weeks, because we will have our brand new website coming your way with all of our fees, everything we have to offer, and we will promote your events on there as well. So do get in touch if you would like me to broadcast any of your racing leagues as well. But until next time, until the next event here in the Renault Clio League, I hope you have a fantastic couple of weeks, and I will see you in the next one. So until Tsukuba, I'm going to say goodbye. Goodbye.
Saturday night, the lights come alive, engines roar tonight. We drive from Laguna Seca to Asha Slibben's course. Clio warriors lining up with full force. Heat race is split, standing starts ignite. 2 laps in quali, chase that pole tonight. Bonus points waiting if you keep it clean. In the Renault Clio League, we're chasing the dream. Call Clio League Season 2. Feel the rush, we're coming through. 12 weeks, 12 tracks, 12 fights to the end. From the club to the international bids. Broadcast live for the world to see. Clio League, this is where we wanna be. Clio League Season 2. We race, we fight, we battle through. Heat races first, then feature 1. 15 minutes, pedal down, get it done. Feature 2 with the invert spin. Fight your way